Is the International Loadstar 1700 the best scout in SnowRunner? It's time to find out in my Need to Know Pros and Cons guide. If you ever needed proof that giving the general population a vote can be a terrible idea, just remember that people wanted to name a very expensive British research exploration vessel Boaty McLoadFace. Anyway, the point is that choice can be bad. It's why sometimes we spend longer browsing Netflix than watching a show. Well, that and the terrible film catalogue in the UK. But in SnowRunner, choice is good. In fact, there are many ways to skin a cat, no offense felines, when it comes to the task of scouting. So why, Ben, are we looking at the International Loadstar 1700 and its cool husky number plate when we have the 8-wheel TUZ, Tartarin, Hummer H2 and YR87? Because this star player has a unique trick in that it can attach proper trailers. Not none at all. Yes, Tartarin, we're looking at you. And that makes it way more useful because you get the versatility of larger trucks without losing that ability to cruise along smaller paths and up terrain that most bigger trucks would give up on, or fall over the edge. It also has permanent all-wheel drive and diff lock from the off, which means this heavy scout can cruise up and down most terrain. Plus those 41-inch off-road tyres, but not mud, make it superior at tackling deep mud and snow than the Hummer, although not as well as bigger trucks. Just make sure to get the raised suspension upgrade, as this is essential for the largest tyres. All upgrade locations can be found using the tool in the description. Then there's the fact the Loadstar 1700 has a pickup add-on, which means it can repair and refuel another vehicle that's stranded, or it can repair and refuel itself when on longer expeditions. There's also a full-on service cab maintenance frame add-on, which ditches fuel but offers 400 points of repair goodness. Best of all though is the fact that you can have the best flashing lights in SnowRunner. Yes, if you want to play good cop or bad cop, saving trucks from the mud or driving past in evil fashion, the Loadstar 1700 is over 9,000 on the cool scale. Other upgrades include the Autonomous Scout, which works when you tip over, and therefore it's essential. Meanwhile, a deep water friendly snorkel is the default. There's also the LC 3.8 loading crane to pick up cargo. Interestingly, you can actually haul 1 unit of cargo on the roof using the crane, and it works. Or drag the crate behind for epic wheelies. Cue the dubstep. You can even carry 2 bits of cargo on a trailer and 1 using the crane, for a total of 3, which is hilarious. Admittedly, I'm not sure why you would want to, but it's nice to know you can. So we've done the good, let's talk about the bad. You do pay the price a little for that versatility. Firstly, the International Loadstar 1700 is internationally, get it, known for being quite large, so some scout trails will be a little scarier than usual. Secondly, and why I suggested the Autonomous Scout as essential, is the fact that it absolutely loves to tip over. However, unlike other scouts, which can usually be saved with the Ninja Winch technique, not to be confused with the Ninja Wench technique, the Loadstar 1700 just seems to want to give up. It's SnowRunner's most depressed vehicle, maybe because it's not like the other scouts. Anyway, societal pressures aside, the Loadstar 1700 is also less nimble, agile and harder to steer. Going from reverse to first, for instance, is done in reluctant fashion. Things do improve with the second and only engine choice, and the off-road and high-range gearbox upgrades do make it a lot better. Damage seems to come thick and fast too, as if the world has a problem with it. And it's not the most fuel efficient relative to its 130 litre tank. It uses at least twice as much as the Hummer and its 50 litre smaller capacity with all-wheel drive engaged, sometimes more. On the flip side, it's got all-wheel drive and diff lock always on as mentioned, so rarely does it stop moving, and that's good for efficiency. So what would I give the International Loadstar 1700 out of 10? Well, it's tough to say because it sort of sits in this no man's land between the more agile Scouty McScout faces and the bigger, more useful trucks. There are times when it works great, as a maintenance scout for instance, but I find myself gravitating towards other trucks most of the time. If it were a bit less tippy and I stuck to the flatter Alaska map, I'd probably use it more, because being considerably better in snow and mud than the Hummer H2 is a real plus that deserves to be highlighted. It would certainly help if Sabre Interactive could give it a single slot of flatbed space for small deliveries or a low saddle, or something along those lines. Still, the Loadstar 1700 has a devout following and only costs 30,000. So it's no major loss if you want to try one of SnowRunner's more interesting beasts. I mean, it can wheelie and has a crane, so yeah, why wouldn't you want to try it? Now, if you've made it this far through the video, thank you very much. Now it is time to answer the question that nobody has asked. Can the Loadstar 1700 drift? And the answer is... sort of. Cue that dubstep again. Yeah, not sure what that was either. Anyway, that's the end of another SnowRunner Best Truck video. Fingers crossed you found it useful in some way. There's plenty of videos to come, so be sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you would be so kind. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye.